middle. You get the middle.
You want a classic?
Classic.
How we doing, everybody?
How's any 92%ers out here?
All right.
You know, we're Quatre Van Doozers over here.
Come again?
Quatre Van Doozers.
Oh, is that the 92
That's
in French?
That's
All right,
French.
There you go. Well, I failed French, so I'm sorry, guys.
I had to do it. I'm Canadian. So we're here to talk about the podcast and I want to talk about the process, how you guys think about it, but also, since we're here in Cannes, the brand side of it, the partnership side of it, how you guys think about that. So, but I'll start with, starting in 2022, it's 2 years later, we're 4,000 miles from Cleveland Heights. What was your original vision for the podcast, and what's the difference between that original vision and where it's at right now?
I would say, to start it off, the original vision was, in the National Football League, we all wear the face mask, right? So one of the goals for us is to try and get out from under that face mask and really get into the seats or get into the living rooms of people watching, right? And I think everybody kind of knew a lot of my personality. And you don't really get to see a lot of the offensive linemen's personalities coming out of the NFL. You don't get to see them scoring touchdowns and doing dances and stuff like that.
I dance every once in a while.
Yeah. So for me, it was one showing me and my brothers, our family, our brotherhood, growing up, and everything in our dynamic. Because if you know Jason, he's a bit of a Neanderthal, and I'm more of a I don't know, one of those high-class prima donna athletes that everyone talks about. So we're two completely different guys from the perspective of if you watch us out on the field. But in reality, if you get us and we're sitting down on a table in front of you, you're going to see that we're brothers, and you're going to see why we're brothers, and how we like to just have fun.
Yeah, I don't know that there was like a big. I mean, there probably was from people that were like setting the trajectory. We were just getting together and talking once a week, and for us, it was a way, first of all, to communicate to each other. Trav and I mean, when we started that podcast, we had been in the league together for like 8 or 9 years, and we'd go months sometimes without talking to one another. And this was a reason to really sit down once a week, talk about our lives, about the season, and there were other guys that were very, very successful in the space. That were really, you saw starting to set themselves apart. Ryan Clark's in the audience, the pivot. Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah.
I know he's back there somewhere. But there's, Pat McAfee, there's the Bussin' with the Boys. There were a lot of guys that were starting to do it. Right. And, for us, we wanted to be authentic. We wanted to be ourselves. And we wanted to just share our experiences with the fans because it felt like that appetite was there from the viewers.
Has it evolved the way you sort of originally thought? Like, how's the reception? You want to show the relationship? You guys want to show yourselves, show your faces behind the mask? How do you reflect on the last 2 years of how that's gone?
Man, it's been insane. It's been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I could have never guessed that we'd be all the way over here in France talking about this, but it is fun and it's cool. And once you gather that following, you want to keep fueling the fun and the excitement of not only every single show, but where we're going with the show, and that's really exciting, especially with a creative guy like Jason, making up stuff like the New Heights live shows that we've had. Yeah. I think that's something that we both have an absolute blast doing. We started the first one in Kansas City during the draft last year, and then finally came around to our old stomping grounds back in University of Cincinnati a few months ago. All right, we got some Bearcats in here.
That's right.
All right now, but yeah. I think getting into like the live shows and seeing where we can really take this show and just the 92%ers, how we can have some fun with you guys has been unbelievable.
Yeah, I guess to just piggyback on what Travis was ending there with, I think you have a vision for things, but the 92%ers and the fans and the viewers are such drivers of the content, right? Yep. They're thirsty for things, and that helps us talk about things. That helps us come up with like the fans are interested in hearing this. They have a no dumb question. So, we lean on a lot of kind of what we're going to talk about, not just from our experience now, but from the fan base that has been so dedicated to it. And it makes it take on a life of its own. I mean, there's things that we've talked about on that podcast that I don't think we would have ever got to without the fans kind of tuning in.
Yeah. The no dumb question stuff has just blown me away.
This is the can segment of no.
You guys know about no dumb questions?
Yeah.
No dumb questions, just
Dumb people. That's right.
dumb motherfuckers. Yes. Sponsored by Garage Beer.
Hey.
All right now.
Well, speaking of like involving the fans to the creative process, to the content you guys are doing, how has your creative process in figuring out what to talk about, how the flow and the new different segment, new news, no dumb questions, how's your creative process evolved since the beginning?
Well, I'm going to leave a lot of the creative process up to this guy. I kind of just show up and just say nonsense. But honestly, a lot of it deals with the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis with Wave Sports and Entertainment. We got the team over here. But I think a lot of that creative process is just understanding what we know how to have fun with, how we know how to talk about things. Obviously, we like to center it around football because that's where we make our hay. But at the same time, listen to Jason give a movie review is some of the most entertaining shit you'll ever hear.
Beautiful life.
Well, yeah. There's, I think so much of being creative is being in a place that you feel, able to be creative or able to, whatever you say is not going to be met with some type of resistance. So to Travis's credit, part of that is the team, but I think a big reason why we're able to do that is just because of our relationship and the fact that, I've been saying stupid stuff in front of him my entire life. Yeah. So I have no, barriers of saying anything to him. And it helps us. I mean, we do a great job of having a guideline of where we want to go in an episode, but so much of the time, the stuff that really goes viral, the stuff that brings on advertisements and takes life of its own is stuff that we just are off the cuff, just shooting. And, it's a lot of it comes down to that relationship. And I think how comfortable you are to be creative.
As someone who listens to the pod, but has never been with you two guys in person until like 5 seconds ago, I have to say that we're talking about a lot of on-brand stuff here. We're standing out back waiting to come out on stage, and these guys are comparing chest hair lines, so it's like exactly like the podcast.
No, that's the best part of the show. We just go out and be ourselves.
He's got the grays on his beard. I got the grays on my chest. Just getting bad, people. We're getting older.
Jason, I think maybe last week, you were mentioning how your personal fan base demographic has shifted a little bit from the larger, hairier dudes to the 12 to 14-year-old girls walking on the street.
The demographic of the show has shifted.
Yeah. So I'm wondering with the shift and certainly the influx and of interest, speaking of the creative, has that allowed you guys to, because it's not just sports, it's not just football.
Yeah.
The lifestyle culture part, has that informed or allowed you guys to think about a little more freedom in that aspect of what you're talking about? And
absolutely, yeah. I think we want to be careful to really stay loyal to the people that have tuned in from day one, and we know that a lot of the guys tune in and women turn in are diehard football fans, and they want that content. Yeah. But we've been, even before the demographic shift, we've been kind of a lifestyle because we just talk about our lives. But now it's really expanded, and it's been fun for me. I have 3 little girls, so in some ways, the show and everything that's transpired over the past year has given reasons for girls to get involved in a sport where previously there wasn't that much interest. So now all of a sudden, dads are hanging out with daughters, and there's worlds colliding, and our show gets to be another place where those worlds collide, which is awesome.
And going back to kind of the question you just had was like, how do you figure out, what we're going to talk about next? You got to listen to your viewers, and you have to listen to the comments and your demographic and to see, who you're talking to, right? Yeah. And with that being said, we do have a lot of new football fans coming in. So not just talking football like we would in the locker room, trying to like necessarily dumb it down or make it more simple so that everybody can follow along and still enjoy the show.
What you guys were talking, I love how, I don't know if it was this week's or last week's, I can't remember, but it was even with a contest winner, one of the Crown Royal People of the Week, or the winner called you out. That
Yeah,
you
I got to race the dachshund now.
Yeah, in
Which
cleats.
I'm pretty confident I'm going to win.
15 yards or 40.
Can I beat a dachshund, Kai? All right. She's the dog expert, so I just lean to her. But I don't know. Do you think I can get it?
This dachshund doesn't have a chance.
How far is, have we figured out how far the race is going to be?
15, 40, or
I don't think it
100
matters.
meters.
Yeah.
And 40 yards or 100 meters.
I don't know if the poll has been answered. We're a very democratic process at New Heights.
You'll get answers from your audience.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless this thing's juicing, there's no
Yeah.
fucking way.
They say it's 15 to 20 miles an hour.
There's no way.
That's what I
A
said.
dachshund. There's no way.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you guys ever seen a wiener dog go 20 miles an hour? That shit just sounds fake.
I agree.
we just got our
Did
headline.
Did
by
they
the way.
GPS them, or are they like gunning them like Randy Johnson?
We're here in Cannes Lion where there's a lot of marketers, a lot of brands. How you guys have a great stable of brand partners. How do you think, how has the relationship with brand partners evolved? We talk about the creative process, your vision. How did it start out? I know you got a business team, but how do you guys think about and how you think about who you're going to team with? How has that changed, or how you guys go about that?
In a sense, it has changed, with the show getting bigger, with me and him getting bigger, and in terms of just more familiar, bigger brands and more opportunities come our way. So obviously you see us up here drinking garage beer, and it's a proud sponsor of New Heights at this point, and we're excited to launch that into a new world and be a part of that. And I think understanding, the brand's, entire persona and where they want, what they want to see out of what we're pitching, right? I think it really just is turned into something that I could have never expected it to at this point. Because before, I think tell me if I'm wrong, but we just were happy to have like dog food sponsors in the beginning, Farmer's Dog, and now it's like we can kind of pick and choose who we want to represent the podcast, and it's just it's really taken off.
Yeah, I think there's more opportunities and more brands that want to be a part of the show, and I think that we're always trying to figure out, what are the brands that have been involved from the beginning and been very loyal and we've built a relationship with, and what are brands that we really identify with and genuinely want to be a part of, and that's a process that continually is growing as the show grows, and the opportunities are there. To what Travis was just saying, yeah.
What advice do you have to marketers who would be not just approaching you, but approaching athletes, celebrities about a podcast, about content that's authentic to them? Because I'm sure you get a lot of calls, you get a lot of pitches, but so you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder what you see, the differences and similarities there, and what actually stands out to you, and what is kind of like, pass.
Am I taking this? All right. So I was a marketing major in college.
Perfect.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And one of the last classes I took, it was the first year the university offered the class, was influencer marketing, which might tell you how long ago I was in college. Right. But and that's the name of the game now, especially in the space we're in. And the whole crux of that is really trying to find which celebrities, which influencers are going to be able to influence consumer decision in your product. So, we've talked about authenticity very much. We've talked about different products. Obviously, beer goes with football. So, there's certain fields that we're going to naturally be, and I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know here, but I think trying to marry the authenticity with the fan base that's watching it, with the talent, when you get all of those together, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a successful campaign, right? Yeah. And I think the influencer thing has gotten so big that consumers are so good now at spotting when it's not real.
They can smell.
When it's just, a placement.
Yeah.
And they're going to hit the skip button. They're going to tune their head out for a second. But when it feels like it's real or it feels very organic, it makes it stand out that much more. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what he just said, and shout out to those who don't know their major in college. Huh? Oh, yeah. Another shout out to the University of Cincinnati. No, I think that what he's saying is, or the advice I would give to anybody jumping on a podcast, really, because that's where our space is, and that's kind of where I'm most familiar in the advertisement stuff, is stay creative with the language that you want in the ad space. I think it kind of gets repetitive sometimes, and it can get to be kind of like a drag. And what Jason is saying is, if you're hearing the same message being pumped out every single time,
Yep.
You're gonna probably hit the skip button after the third, fourth time, unless it's a good bit. But for the most part, just remain creative, and just make it fun. Make it fun for everybody involved, the people that are doing the ad and the people that are listening to it.
You guys are definitely taking your own advice, because I love the garage beer.
Yeah.
The tight end of beers.
The tight end of beers.
All right, now I'll take
So
that.
I want. How do you, speaking of taglines, you guys also, your sponsors, you conversations with your sponsors, because there has to be. You guys do your own ad reads, obviously, but it seems like off the cuff, like some of the Uncrustables, like I fucking love these things. Like, it's not something a marketer would write necessarily for you.
Right.
Well, that's what happens when you get a product that the people doing the ad really fucking love.
Yeah.
If they're passionate about it,
Yeah.
they're going to get behind it. Yeah.
Well, it sounded like when you guys talk about garage beer and the tight end of beers, that there's some shade thrown at some of the beers, what the other beers are telling us that they are, or what they should be, or who you should be. Is any advice for marketers talking to a broader audience and maybe how they talk to their audience? Because it sounded like you guys, a little meta commentary on advertising in general.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, I think, I don't know. We like beer. To us, it's not that serious. We're just trying to have fun, and we don't take ourselves very seriously. And again, it comes back to authenticity. So if we're two guys that don't take ourselves that seriously, we joke around. We constantly, what's it called? When you're making fun of yourself, what's that? Yeah, self-effacing humor. If we're using that on ourselves, why not use it on the beer?
That guy has a major.
You know what I mean? That feels like, that's right.
Sure.
I could tell. Trust me, I know which ones don't and which ones do.
So, yeah, I mean, I think...
You got to make it make sense. You got to make it make sense. We were riffing on the show saying it's the tight end of beers, because I think the tight end position's, the whatever you need kind of guy. I get to do everything on the field. I get to block. I get to catch. I get to, do the dances, have fun. I get to do the dirty work and get dirty. And I think that the garage beer is the utility guy. It's the electrician. It's the plumber. It's anything you need, baby. You can have a beer wherever you want, but it's right there in the garage for you.
Man, that was good.
All right now.
Well, it's not only working
Take a
with
sip.
sponsors and stuff within the podcast. I mean, how has the podcast become a bit of a platform for you guys to sort of jump off of? I mean, obviously, you've got the game show coming up, and your Frank's work, fantastic.
Thank you.
How do you guys think about those opportunities, and is that filter any different from when you're thinking about who's sponsoring the podcast?
Man. Well, obviously, that's kind of the point of, or one of the things, the luxury of having your own outlet of a podcast. You'll be able to, get out of the house and tell everybody what you're doing out here outside of the football world and outside of the podcast, and keep everybody aware of the things that you got going from there. But it also, it gives the advertisers, everybody that wants to be a part of the show, a broader understanding of what's coming up next.
Yeah.
So it's kind of teasing, what actually you're going to be a part of, because Garage Beer isn't just going to be a part of New Heights. It's going to be a part of the guy that's hosting Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity too. So it's kind of just it broadens the spectrum of what you're getting yourself into in terms of sponsorships and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's just opened up a lot of doors. There's tons of different things to do, and you get to choose things that you want to do, and it's a luxury in life where you can really pigeonhole in things that sound fun, sound creative, sound unique, sound like good fits. Doesn't feel like you're just doing things because you want work or anything like that. We're in a good position, and a lot of that's been fueled by the success of the show and more people wanting to be involved.
I was thinking about the platform you guys have, and obviously, like you said at the beginning, there's a lot of athletes with podcasts, with other projects, but football players going into pop culture is nothing new. Carl Weathers and Terry Crews and and even nowadays you've got the Manning brothers with their Omaha Empire.
Grew up in Cleveland, Jim Brown.
How do you?
All right, Jamie.
Nice. Who do you look for inspiration when you're thinking about how you guys are approaching this, or even at the beginning when you were thinking about doing it? Is there any people or any careers, or not to copy, just to as an inspiration? They're doing their thing.
Oh no,
right.
we copy.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we're big copy and paste kind of guys.
That's how.
For sure.
I don't know if you know. That's how like 90% of game plans are made these days.
Yep, you just
copy paste.
Copycat league.
Oh, that route worked there. All right, we're doing it this week too.
Damn, that looks sweet by George Kittle. Hey, Coach Reed, can we put that in? Yeah. I think just to give a few shout-outs, Pat McAfee has been one of my favorite guys in the industry. He's really taken his brand to a whole nother level with the people that he started it with, and that's something that me and Jason hold dear to our hearts. We're loyal guys, and on top of that, Omaha Productions, the Manning brothers, Peyton has been an unbelievable influence, and both of those guys have lent a helping hand. If we have a question and stuff like that, they've always been there to help us out along the way. And although we're still trying to do our thing, we can 100% take some of the things they've been doing because they've been so unbelievably successful with it. So
when I'll speak to all of these guys, like what's really cool about this space right now, it's new, it's fresh, everybody's kind of doing it. But I feel like football players, we're such team-oriented guys. Mm-hmm. All of those people offered up any type of advice.
Immediately. Ryan
Clark, I mentioned him a few minutes ago. Like, there's a good underground of communication happening with all the guys that are doing it successfully. Yeah. And so not only do we get to watch it and try and emulate it or do it in a different way, but we can call those guys, and it really helps when you have ideas or different things that we don't know what we're doing. We're just getting started, and it's talking to people that are doing.
How'd we get here again?
So, yeah.
Is there a best or a few best pieces of advice that you've gotten that you can remember from some of these guys?
Everybody in media that has been successful, whether it's podcasting, and I keep coming back to this, is be authentic. Like, don't let the content make you trying to be somebody that you're not, whether you're, obviously I'll be on ESPN this year on Monday night. Like, all of it is,
woo! Yeah.
Everyone in all these spaces is make sure you're being yourself. The fans will connect with it if you're being yourself.
One of my questions was, any advice for guys coming up that might be thinking about doing a podcast or starting something outside the sport?
Do you have anything right away?
I think the most fun and one of the hardest decisions from the jump is if you're going to do a podcast, the production team has to be somebody that not only you trust, but you enjoy going to work with. Especially if you're going to do something during the season. The football season's a grind with or without a podcast. So making sure that through the ups and downs of the football season, every single Tuesday or Monday or whenever you're doing the recordings and stuff, you have a group of people you have a group of people that you can just trust and enjoy doing it with. Yeah. And I think that was one of the biggest things from the jump was kind of vetting the production, the day-to-day people that we'll be speaking to, and the creatives on it, to kind of trust them to put us in positions to have success. I think that itself was really something that catapulted our success in this space. And
yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And then for me, I think everyone's trying to get into it right now, and they should be. But I also think that doing it the right way is really important too. So, especially young guys, I think you want to make sure you're getting involved with it with the right people. You want to make sure that you're in the right spot. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I speak for Travis here, but I don't think I could have done this early in my career. I don't think I was, one, mature enough, but also, two, knowledgeable enough. And I think that
it's pretty dicey for me to do it 2 years ago.
So I think, right away, I would tell all young guys who are really trying to get into this like influencer world, start small. Start just like getting yourself out in front of fans, and you're gonna start to be getting asked tough questions, and you're gonna have to start answering those and getting used to it. You're gonna have to start understanding how to connect with people, radio shows, like things like that. I wouldn't jump full bore into something that's going to be on the internet forever when you're just getting into something.
Sounds terrifying. How about you guys?
And you're trying to learn a new playbook in a new league. I think there's a process that I think is a gradual one, and I think it's important to make sure that you're getting involved with the right people, that you're taking your time to learn and do it in the right way. Yeah. So yeah, that
takes me to my next words of advice. If you're going to be authentic, make sure you have a good team that can edit. You have to have a really good team that can edit out all the shit that you'll get canceled for.
Yes.
Because that is key. You do not want to get canceled. And
shout out to intern Brandon.
We've seen intern Brandon, Jake, all of everybody a wave. Thank you for not getting us canceled. At least not yet.
Yeah.
This is Sport Beach. There's a lot of combos of athletes and brands, and I'm wondering, because you guys talk a lot on the podcast about things you liked as kids, things that you remind. I think you were talking about your favorite Disney Channel movies the other day.
Yeah.
What do you have like a Mount Rushmore? Do you have a favorite list of sports ads featuring specific athletes that come to mind when you're like, oh, that was the one. That's the one. That's the one or two that stick out in your mind from growing up.
I'm such a Nike junkie, man. Just Do It when I was a kid. I'm a huge Cleveland Cavs fan. LeBron James, Witness, greatness. I mean, you can't beat it, man.
Yeah. Those are unbelievable. The one I think of the old school, the Mean Joe Green one with the Coca-Cola, all the beer ones from Super Bowls.
Right.
They do a good job with those commercials.
Budweiser.
Hey, hold on.
Classic.
It's a competitor.
Let me give a shout out. It's a good ad. It's a good ad.
It's a good ad. It is good. Hold on. There was another one. The ones where all the guys were making like the ridiculous catches. You remember those ones? They're like,
one.
I think it was another.
Oh, the Powerade joints?
Yes.
Where Michael Vick threw it out of the stadium.
Out of the stadium.
That was a classic.
Those runs of like guys
Classic.
like.
No Terry Tate, office linebacker.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Don't.
Office linebacker was a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of sponsors, it made me think of you guys were a little cryptic in the last couple of weeks about and stuff from as a kid about cereal kids, General Mills.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we jumped in.
Yeah.
We jumped in. One of our favorites.
We jumped back.
Yeah,
Anything you can tell me about that, or just a few friends here?
That's a great question. Are we allowed to spill the beans on that? Did we already spill the beans on
I feel
that?
like everyone already knows.
Sorry, guys. I get hit in the head.
What's
for a
the
living.
worst that happens?
It's fun. It's fun because General Mills was. It was in our cabinets. It was in our household all day, every day. And you know, we were a cereal family 100%. We always had a gallon or two of milk in the refrigerator with a couple boxes of cereal. Blue Top, 2%. Got to get that 2% in there. And we teamed up with General Mills to bring a new mix to your cabinet. It's Reese Puffs, Jason's favorite, Captain Crunch, my favorite, and Lucky Charms because why the fuck not?
That sounds like a good tagline.
So all three of those mixed into one, and to be honest, when we were doing the ad and the commercial,
we were like, "This is going to be terrible,
unbelievable."
But it's good. Yeah, trust. I don't know why it works, but it works.
Yep, I do know why, and it's sugar.
It's covered in it.
Yeah, it's delicious though, and it's healthy whether you want to believe me or not.
They were fun. I can't wait to see.
I ate it for a whole day, and I didn't get sick.
I really can't wait to see what the commercials and the shoots.
It was ridiculous. It was so much fun, man.
Yeah. It sounds like they have a lot of taglines to choose from already.
Oh yeah.
You guys have come up with a lot just right here.
Yeah.
For Garage, that's a recent investment. How are you guys thinking about your owners, not just brand partners? How is that a difference? And what are you most excited about in working on brands of your own?
Yeah, well, when you're an owner, there's obviously a lot of upside potential if everything goes well. And you feel, again, we talked about it before, this level of authenticity.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more authentic than actually being an owner of a product. And I think, for us, we get to really identify with this brand. And that's, I think, one of the reasons right away we went tight into beers. Like, we start trying to assimilate this beer with the ways that we think about ourselves and athletes and things like that. So it's something that feels like it's a lot more intimate when you're as far as being an ownership side of a brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I have nothing to say. I think since we're going to talk about Garage, we got to talk selfishly. I'm going to talk about Casa Azul here.
Okay, there we go.
Everybody, if you're not into
good.
beer, Casa Azul, your tequila seltzer made from real blue agave tequila,
go.
not malt liquor like the other shit. But this is it's an opportunity, like Jason said, to really be authentic in what you're pumping out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's always fun jumping into different worlds. Like, I had no idea growing up that I was going to be a part of a beer, brand or a brewery or a tequila seltzer.
You only dream of it.
Yeah, you can't even fathom that kind of stuff. So it's just it's an honor, and when you get the opportunities, you just want to take it to the top, because the people that really started it up are trusting you to be able to take that product to the next level. So I'm thankful, grateful, and just wanted to unfortunately have to drink a few.
Yeah. Well, between the podcast and now Garage Beer, you guys are brothers and business partners. When the podcast first started, and you touched on it here, you talked about part of the goal was to show people your relationship, the dynamic.
Yeah.
How has that evolved, or how? Obviously, you guys say you banter and talk shit like you always have. But has it added an element bringing all of us in?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's always been pretty harsh and straight to the point. We've always had a fun, playful relationship. The Kelce household is full of humor, and on top of that, being humiliated is it'll humble you, and making fun of somebody will keep you grounded.
Yeah.
Some good old hard loving from your family will make you just have a different perspective on who you are as a person. I think that's something that I actually hold true, and I'm proud of. I think that keeps me just a genuine person. I'll say hi to anybody and lend a helping hand, but I think that becomes to the family dynamic that we have, and I don't think that'll ever change.
Nothing out of that.
Perfect. Well, I'm saving one of my last questions. It's not my last question, but one of mine, because it's a touchy issue about feet.
You're breathing.
He's got
Speaking
them
of being
toes
on
out.
brand, you are what did you call him, a flip-flop Yeti or flip-flop wearing Yeti? Anyway, a few weeks ago, Jason's been speaking of like taking content from your viewers and responding. The battle over washing feet is still ongoing, and I'm wondering, we're here.
I am battling no one. I am simply
we got to
stating
take
what
a
I
poll
do.
here. Who washes their feet? Raise your hand, please.
Really?
50-50.
I am calling
Nice.
bullshit.
Who works for a soap brand? Anybody? Big Soap?
Big Soap's not in the building.
P&G?
I thought Big Soap was going to be here for
513 didn't make it
sure.
out?
P&G, I thought would be here.
So you have not gotten a call from Big Soap?
P&G knows I am a yellow dial bar soap user. That's all I use. I hit my hot spots, armpit, front and back, and I'm out of there. That's it.
That's a commercial right there.
The suds will get whatever. I mean, if there's visible dirt,
Yeah.
I'll take it to the foot.
Since when?
But unless I'm sitting, like if I'm standing in the shower, I'm going to go here,
He's getting fired up.
soap bar, and go. I'm not doing all that. Nobody's seeing my feet.
What do you
Except
mean?
for all these
All you
people.
wear is
You see the
sandals.
tops, though, and the suds get the tops. I'm not going to go up to somebody like, hey, look at my bottom of my foot.
Well, you also had the caveat, though, that anyone walking around sandy beaches and there was some comments about
French?
Jesus.
Oh,
not the French.
Jesus, yes,
Maybe
yes.
also Jesus. Dirty feet.
I was about to say,
Sandy sandals.
I'm in France. I feel like I'm with my people, right? No, I'm this.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah,
after
right.
that.
I'll just stop.
Well, obviously, again, you guys have seen a lot of success. Things are growing. You got brand investments of your own. How do you see the podcast and starting with the live events? How do you see the pod evolving in the short term, and kind of what are you most excited about for the coming year?
Well, right now is kind of I don't want to say it's a dead period in the NFL, but a lot of our show, if you listen to it, has nothing to do with the fucking NFL.
A lot of lifestyle topics.
Yeah, a lot of lifestyle topics. But I'm excited about getting back into the football season and talking ball. I think that's where we have the most fun on the show. Well, I can't say that. We have a lot of fun talking about the lifestyle stuff, but that's where I kind of feel most comfortable day to day on just how we're going to attack the podcast. And I'm excited for the season. It always slows down a little bit for me during the season, doing stuff like this, and everything that I've been doing in the off season has been fun. But I'm excited to sit down and get to work and get a run at another Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I will no longer be running at Super Bowls, but I think I don't know. We're throwing all sorts of different ideas, and I constantly try and think of different ways to do more things. And there's opportunities to do maybe added content or more out and about stuff now that I don't have practice. So I think there's different ways that we're thinking about maybe evolving things, but it'd probably be too preliminary. The show's working. We got the season coming up, so we'll have plenty of content.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we'll see where it goes.
And I think we were just talking about it back there. I don't know about you guys, but we're not professionals at this quite yet. We're still trying to tweak that and get better at being podcast hosts and having content that we know exactly what we're going to say about and give a good viewpoint of and stuff like that. So nonstop, always trying to tweak our professionalism in the area and giving you guys a great show.
Nice. That's about all I had, to be honest.
No dumb questions.
No more. Any dumb questions?
Any dumb?
No
Anybody
dumb
got a
questions.
good one out there?
All right,
Anybody
what do you got?
got a good one right here. Go ahead. Hey, Michelle.
Okay.
Football player and winning Super Bowls.
So for those of you that didn't hear the whole thing, do you enjoy being a celebrity, working with brands, or a football player winning Super Bowls? Don't be afraid to tell the truth, and we are not. Winning Super Bowl is pretty fucking awesome.
When you get that is it's a really nice mountaintop once you can climb it.
Hey!
All right, go Birds. There you go. You got any Chiefs Kingdom in here or what? We got any? There we go. There we go.
Well, listen, thank you guys for being here. Thank everyone for being here. We'll see you out on the Quaset. Probably not. I want to bring up Stagwell here to wrap up the day of programming here at Sport Beach. Thanks very much for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for having us. You already know it's been fun out here.
Gonna go get some baguettes. I'm already 3 in.